That's my thing. Going fast is just, that's me. It's basically a single cab Hilux extended 350mm to suit the D40 body. And then the whole thing is widened each side by about 140mm. Yeah, that's how much difference there is between an N70 and a D40.
Oh, Steve. Big fella.
Oh, yeah.
How are you?
Great.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we got the beers going. Better say cheers for coming down.
Cheers.
I know how busy you are, like we all are, but it's good to take 5 every now and then.
Still got a little bit to get me down here.
Yeah, but that's all good. That's all good. Good things come to those who wait. So, for people that don't recognise the logo, Inhouse Fabrication.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that. How long have you been doing it? What do you do? All that sort of stuff.
This year's 10 years.
Oh, true.
I think. Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, snorkels, exhaust, airboxes. Trying to push more into streetcar side of things as well, but
yeah,
very hard market to get into.
As far as you don't see many snorkels on streetcars.
No.
It's well, yeah. Are you like the JDM stuff or like Aussie V8 stuff or
just anything? Just anything. I just want to expand. I'd love to get more into the exotic side of things.
Okay.
So like Lamborghinis, Porsches, and all that side of things, but try and push titanium.
Right. As in like all like exhaust extractors, like turbo piping, all that stuff is all titanium.
Yeah.
What is an exhaust out of titanium for something like a Ferrari cost?
So you buy bolt-on kits for Lamborghinis and they're around about 20 grand.
Holy shit. We're in the wrong business. Good Lord.
Yeah. A lot of time and effort goes into it to make them great, but
fair enough. But you would think that at that sort of level, I mean, good God, 20 grand.
Yeah. Your gas,
for
obviously
for a rear mount engine.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty short exhaust.
Yeah. They are literally like, they come out, they Y-piece together and then go out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's all like pure argon and helium gas and
yeah, right. Wow. That's cool though.
Yeah, it's ultimately what I'd love to get into, but
yeah,
whether I do or not.
Yeah, I can't look. I mean, there's obviously a lot more four-wheel drives kicking around than are Lamborghinis and Ferraris
exactly
around here.
Yeah,
but I mean, at 20 grand a pop, you don't need to do too fucking many, do you?
One a month will set you up.
Yeah, that's not bad. But what, like, is it installing that? I mean,
so that's the supply.
So when you're doing stuff like that, I mean, I've never been under a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or anything like that. So access to doing that type of install, I mean, I guess there's like that many different models, but is it the sort of thing where you're going to take half the arse end apart because it's all jammed in there, like rear bars off and all that? Or?
Your rear bars off.
Yeah.
From there, it's pretty standard. You just straight off the headers.
Yeah.
So that's just headers back. That's not including headers or anything. But what a lot of people do is they lease their car.
Yeah.
And then they chuck that on the lease, so it works out to be another $10 more a month, and it's a lot cheaper.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty up there.
Wow. I get. Oh, like, having said that, I mean, like, what's a decent Lamborghini going for these days? Like $500,000? Yeah, 20 grand. What do you get?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sitting there thinking like 50 grand, 80 series build,
you
$20,000 exhaust.
You look at 200 series though, right? You're looking at 200 to 300 grand roughly.
True. Yeah, chop tray
for a big build.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess when you're dealing with that. Still a lot more exhaust in one of them though.
Yeah.
So you are for we won't step on toes, but because you are obviously you're your own brand, you're an enormous brand, but you are also the brand behind a lot of other brands.
Yes.
Namely, for argument's sake, because I can't get in trouble with myself, our stuff.
Yep.
You guys do all the snorkels for the wild side gear and everything else that you do that we can put our logo on. Mm-hmm. Because for people that I know there's a lot of people out there that sort of keep that a little bit hush-hush.
Yes.
But for me, when we were talking about it originally, I was kind of like, you're fucking the best out there. Why would I hide that you guys are doing it for us? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, anything that we're doing where we're putting our logo on it, we're sort of just going like, these guys are the best at whatever it is that we're targeting, and we're just calling it like just with a bit of wild side flavour.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing it, as you said, you've been doing this for 10 years. Fabrication's obviously been since when? Like, is it like always been a thing, or did you kind of stumble into this? Or
funny story actually. I used to build staircases for a living.
Okay.
Timber. I never really got into stainless.
Right.
My boss has been a bit of a wank, so I learned how to weld with his welder on site. And one of my workers just said to me, a guy I was working with, said to me, "You weld that up and I'm just going to go home." Well, I'd never welded before. I didn't even have a welding helmet.
Right.
So I had to weld that, and then it turned out that he never ever came back. So I had to finish off all the stainless handrails, polish, weld, everything, not knowing a thing about stainless.
Fuck, talk about getting thrown in the deep end.
Yeah, so that was 16 levels of staircase handrail.
Fucking hell. Right, okay, yeah.
So that's where it all started. And then one of my friends hit me up for a snorkel on his GQ. That was our very first snorkel, and it was just skyrocketed from there.
It seems to be the sort of way that a lot of this stuff happens. Like Matty from the Triple M tub racks, like he was talking to us about the first one that he did. I think he was working on a Bunnings fold-out table, or a Bunnings table with a Bunnings glass top table with a bit of, I think it was a bit of cardboard or something over the top of it under a tarp, and just as soon as people sort of saw it, it just took off.
Mm-hmm.
We're the same with the 79s. The first one was never meant to be a thing.
Yep.
79 bonnets. I think that some of that's, you can plan to plan, but sometimes it's just the right place, right time, right thing.
Exactly. It's 100% timing.
Yeah, for sure.
So obviously we did our first one, and then I was still working full time for 3 years. And when I did that, I was working 5 days a week, and then finishing at 1:30 in the afternoon, going home, working until 8 o'clock at night, because orders were just silly.
Yeah.
And then every single weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I was working 12 hours a day, and I was doing roughly about 5 installs a day, Saturday and Sunday. So 10 installs through the weekend. So I didn't have a life for 3 years, essentially, to build my brand.
Yeah.
But we went from, it was something silly like 0 to 5,000 followers in a month.
Yeah, it's Insta?
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, Facebook.
Yeah.
I didn't have Insta for probably a good 3 years.
Facebook's been weird lately. It just
drops off.
Yeah.
It caps.
Yeah. It's even the normal posts of just kind of daily stuff, not anything even special, used to get, I don't know, however many thousand like views and comments and whatever else. Now it's like nothing.
Yeah.
But Insta's gone
the other way.
Really weird though. I think all of the that's Facey. It's like all the barriers of different things that they've had is just gone. There's the weirdest shit's popping up now that's like what platform am I looking at here? There you go. Yeah, so that's the Insta one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like I say, we started that at like maybe like the 5th or 6th year mark.
Yeah.
I was never really a big fan of Instagram.
No.
I was I built Facebook up, and then I thought, well, I need to expand. So that's when I started. I just turned my normal personal one into a business one.
Yeah, I did the same thing with Insta because that was I was the same. Facebook was the first thing that I did, and I had an Instagram account, but it was a personal one that we converted to the shop one as well.
Yeah.
But you guys on TikTok?
We started a TikTok.
Yeah.
But man, I don't have time for videos, and I struggle with what I do now.
That's it.
On my phone. I got a receptionist. Her name's Cheryl, obviously, but we got a receptionist just to give me more time to do installs and work with the boys and get everything done. So realistically, I need a videographer to be there all the time to do that.
Yeah, it's. I did Sam Young's bonnet. Like typically, I think there's about, if I time them, it's about 15-ish hours worth of work if you're just on it and that's it. But I think filming his blew it out to a week and a half, just with moving the camera and thinking, oh, what's going to look good here, what's going to look good there, and the editing, is, I mean, that kind of is what it is. But even just lining up the cameras, it's it's a fucking pain in the ass. It's like,
and realistically, you got to have 3 angles.
Yeah,
to do what you want to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you might be like you're welding something here, and the camera's facing this way, and so then you got to pause, then you got to move it over there, and then keep welding, and then move it back there, and then keep welding, and then it edits together.
Yeah,
and that's only that one bit that goes down to like, I don't know, 7 seconds of footage,
and your video for 10 minutes.
That's right. You've been dicking around for half an hour moving stuff. But yeah, it is. It's a. I think I get it from a point of view for people that's all they do.
Yeah.
Having the workshop like what we've got set up here, and then adding that filming to it you could definitely do it as a full-time job.
Yes.
It's the hours that it adds to any job, or even just like daily, whether it's whether you're going to do more hours or it slows you down, whatever it is. It's a lot. But that's one of the reasons, like what we're doing with all the footage for the series, is giving everybody like full access to it so that they can use it as well. Because the deal we did with the production company that's doing the show, or our show for Channel 7, that took some negotiating, because I was like, hey, I wanted equal rights to it. Because I thought if there's people involved, like, we're filming it anyway, why cap it and not let them use it, or I don't know, what do they do, charge you for it if they give you footage? I don't know. But they weren't real keen on it at the beginning.
Yeah, right.
So that took a bit of negotiating to make sure that everybody had access to all the footage. But it is. It's mental. So
I don't know how people can do it. I get the shits with moving the cameras around.
That's right. That's right. Give me a soldier. You want another one?
Yeah.
Get into it. So for those with keen eyes, there's a different brand in the bucket today. Oh, 10 points. Oh, dear. So you were welding upstairs. Got it. How did the first set of stairs come out? Like, did you take to it like duck to water, or was it like,
my boss was stoked, I'll say that much.
Okay, cool.
The guy never came back. So
yeah, that's so weird. Just took off one day and that was it.
Yeah. He came back about 2 years later. And obviously
it's a fucking long lunch break.
My boss was stoked because I became the new handrail guy.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of practice and seen some wild houses and buildings, and mate, there's some ridiculous money in houses. But
yeah, I back in the day, we were doing deliveries for Harvey Norman. 19, somewhere around there. And there was some stuff we delivered to a place down the coast, and it had I think it was like 3 stories inside, but it had from the bottom of the ground level, through to the top of the 3rd level, was a fucking fish tank that was like circular, that it had to have been 4 or 5 meters wide up. And we got told they had like scuba gear. The guys had to come in and clean the tank, get scuba gear to up the bottom, and it's fucking like that's just when you're like, what the fuck are we wasting money on?
Yeah.
But yeah, we did see a cool one. Did a delivery for a bloke over the south side, and he had a theatre room downstairs. We were bringing in a heap of couches, and he had those 3D like they're like, it's not a photo frame because it's deeper than that, but it's like a display box. And he had a photo of Stallone in the Rocky getup with the red glove, and it all signed.
Oh yeah.
But the depth of it, the glove and everything, but the face of it was flush with the wall, so it was like recessed into the wall. And it had a heap of cool shit on the wall, like all memorabilia and signed stuff. And you're like,
crazy.
Some people have just got some fucking stupid money.
We did a house near the yacht club in Scarborough.
Oh yeah.
And this place, the old guy sold his business for like 250 million or something. And he was building the house off his interest. So 12 years into the build, he put 4 or 5 staircases into this house. And like there were like platforms from one side of the house to the other, and with a staircase either end, all the glass. He had a butler's, so he had another kitchen upstairs just for him and his wife. just so there were 2 kitchens in the house and 12 bay garage downstairs, and he ended up passing away, but his son took it over and finished it off.
I don't know. That's I think my old man used to tell me a story. He had a bloke, Peter Drake, I think it was, that he used to do with his life insurance stuff back in the day, and he had a property down on the canal at the Goldie. And I think if I could be getting this a little bit wrong, but I think he bought the house next door, knocked it down, and put like a full skate park in there for his kid. It's like on the fucking canal. Asshole. But there's some stupid money out there though. Oh, anyway, I could talk about dumb ways to spend money all afternoon. What's so, because obviously like the snorkels and everything that you guys do, that's sweet. That's us. We're already all over that.
Yeah.
What other stuff have you got now available that we can stick our logo on?
Really depends. We can do obviously air boxes, intercoolers. We're trying to get more into the intercooler side of things.
Yeah. Actually, let me pause you on there for a sec. So from a point of view of like an intercooler, for whether it's like an upgrade from like a top mount, front mount, whatever it is, when you go online and you buy these different kits, and I can't even think of the name of it. There's a diesel performance diesel kit that I know I've seen, or that we've bought in the past for customers and installed them, that takes it from a little baby top mount to like a decent front mount. But from something that you guys are building in-house to something that people would buy just online, what is it that someone would look for as far as like a quality? Is it like the alley itself? Is it a better quality alloy? Is it the welding? Is it the size? The fill in as much of the space as you can? Like what's the difference?
Everyone is different, obviously.
Yeah.
A lot of people look for cheapest quality. Cheapest quality comes down to different core side, like different what's inside the core of the intercooler.
Yeah.
So you can have like tube and fin, with their cores, it's completely empty inside. It does sweet F-all.
Right.
It'll cool down somewhat, but you won't get much performance out of it.
Okay.
So we use PWR cores just for the simple fact that they're tried and tested.
Yeah.
Yeah, they cost us more to make, and in the end, it costs you more to buy them. But we know for a fact at the end of the day, you can put 100 PSI through it, it's not going to explode. You know, right. I've physically had an Aeroflow tube and fin core explode top and bottom tanks down the beach.
Yeah, that's not ideal, is it?
No. And you're talking $200 to $300 difference in price. And when you're looking at $200 to $300 in tow trucks just to get it off the beach, it's pays for itself. But that's the biggest thing that we look for. And then obviously we pride ourselves in our welding, the quality of welding. And then you've got the tube. We've brought in these HDI clamps. So they're double O-ring clamps. They hold 500 PSI. They never leak. They don't blow off. It's just everyone has their own quality things, but not a lot of people want to pay for that quality.
It's one of those stupid bits where you look at it like that, like you said, like, you know, you can save what, $300, $400, even if it was $1,000, even if it was double the price, what damage is it going to do?
Yeah.
Let alone tow trucks and everything else. But yeah, like that just doesn't even make sense. Like why, I don't know why you would bother. I mean, I guess there's price points for everybody.
Exactly. Everyone wants to save a buck.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I can understand that. I want to save $1 when I want to buy my car too. When I want to build my car.
Yeah.
But I also come to the conclusion at the end of it, where I'm at now, is I do buy the better products to an extent. Sometimes the higher priced product is not a better product.
Yeah, there was something I heard years ago. I can't remember who said it. Actually, I do remember who said it. It was Bill Cosby. He was talking about going skiing. I remember we used to fly a lot when we were young, and when he was still not, whatever he is now. But he was talking about going skiing, and he was like, I don't want the most expensive. I want the best. Mm-hmm. So I get that. And there's definitely a lot of overpriced shit out there.
Yeah.
And I think there's definitely certain brands in the four-wheel drive industry that rest on the name that was created a while ago that now can't give a fuck about customer service and
Correct.
Other bits and pieces.
Yes.
So I get that. Yeah.
Which is our biggest thing that we pride ourselves on.
Yeah.
I.e., for an example, we had a Colorado come in with a vibration issue. We didn't install the intercooler, but we did supply it. And he had an issue with a vibration. He drove up from the Gold Coast. He drove around Australia, then drove up to the Gold Coast to come get it fixed. He would have been there for 5 hours to try and get this issue fixed. We fixed one issue, and then it started vibrating somewhere else. But the same thing, right?
Chasing shit,
it's one of those things. But it ended up coming to putting a bit of rubber between the intercooler and the body, and the small vibration stopped. All it was the internal part. An internal part of the intercooler was touching somewhere. We couldn't figure out where it was, but as soon as you touched the piping, it would stop.
Yeah, right.
So that resonance was going through the body, and you could just hear it at like 800 RPM. And with an RG Colorado, you're cruising at, say, 1,000 RPM and say 1,200 RPM in top gear. And he's towing a caravan around Australia. The last thing you want is a vibration.
Yeah, it's the old stuff. What we used to do is like you hear a vibration, you just upgrade your speakers.
Yeah, we offered that.
Keep us.
He didn't want anything.
Throwing some, what was it? Kenwood's with the poor man's sub with the 7B10s. Throw some 7B10s in there, fucking cure all your problems.
But no, it's just one of those things that we sort of pride ourselves on. Definitely is customer service.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
It's huge.
I think that's the one part about this place. I've said it a few times. It wouldn't matter how big we got. That'd be the one thing I wouldn't want to stop doing.
Yeah.
I love the talking shit.
Mm-hmm.
Half the reason we do this.
Yeah.
But I love getting the people that come in with, they've got a bit of an idea and you help them sort of, that idea to sort of evolve and then work out sort of the best way to attack it moving forward and, break it down from almost like reverse engineer it from where they want to be so that you can take a step back and do it in stages so that it doesn't look like 5 shops have had a crack at it.
Yeah.
But again, one of the reasons that we got on board with you guys, because it's like if instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, it's like just go with like the best and give it a bit of our flavour.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you talk to your customer and say, what do you want?
Yeah.
I want a snorkel and airbox. Why do you want an airbox?
Yeah.
Oh, because I want to go through water. How deep's the water? How long are you going to sit in the water for? And they say, I want to go in and out of the water. Keep your factory airbox if you don't want noise.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, aftermarket airboxes are super noisy.
Yeah.
The resonance through the alloy is ridiculous. I don't care who you are. It's stupidly loud. And the amount of times that I've sold myself out of an airbox is ridiculous. But the customer loves me because I'm not a dickhead that's going to tell them that.
Yeah,
you should just buy something just to put money in my pocket.
Yeah, you're not trying to retire off each deal.
Exactly. Not at all. I'm not, the idea behind our business is not to retire on $1 million or fucking $100 million.
Yeah.
It is not the idea. It is to be a part of the industry where people can go, he was a legend. He did not rip me off at all. And that was it.
Yeah, I've said something similar. Like my thing with people is it's not, and sometimes it's delivering news that they don't want to.
Correct.
Because it's like I sort of say, it's not just. It's obviously we want to make you happy now, but the biggest thing is that in 12 months, if we bump into each other on the track, you don't want to kill me.
Exactly.
You know, it's like whether I've talked you out of spending money on something or talked you into spending money on something is either way. That once that initial joy of an excitement of a new part or a bit of paint or whatever, once that's gone, are you still happy with it? And in 12 months when we bump into each other on the track, you're still going to run up and go, hey man, you know, how you been? Like fucking there, this thing's doing good. And you know, everything's all good.
Yeah.
Because again, going back to those who shall not be spoken about, resting on names and not following up with customer service, it's a fucking good way to get a shit name.
Yeah. Customer service is your biggest way.
Yeah.
And word of mouth is just is a business.
Yeah. So what's next? What do you guys got? Anything cool in the pipeworks?
Just R&D. We're always R&Ding. Always doing research.
Are you doing a lot for the American stuff, or?
Man, American stuff is tough. So with the diesel, so like your diesel Rams, your diesel Silverados.
Yeah.
You don't only have to do a snorkel and airbox. I don't care who you are. I don't care what company you own. You can do it without it, but it is not efficient, and it will pull the center of the turbo out of it.
Really?
It'll ruin your turbo. It'll ruin your motor. You need 5 inches of air. I don't care who you are. You need 5 inches of air in the snorkel, in the airbox, in the intake pipe.
Right.
Regardless, there are companies out there that do a 4-inch job, and there are companies out there that have issues with that reason.
So, but the factory intake wouldn't be that big though, would it?
It's about 4.5 inches, but they're also tuned to suit.
Right.
So as soon as so they're 4 1/4 in a Ram. They're 4 1/4. I'm not sure exactly what they are in a Silverado.
Yeah.
But you go with a stainless, you can generally go 4, 4.5, or 5.
Yep.
With an airbox, you cannot meet the same requirements for the MAF that factory is. No. Because
bring up Instagram for a second.
So with a sensor in the Ram,
yeah,
it's in the physical airbox. It's not in a tube. So with a tube, like we designed our own MAF housings years ago.
Yeah.
And we got told originally, it'll never happen. It'll never work. So we designed our own, and we were the first person to do it properly, like in a production line.
Yeah.
And we were the only people to do it for probably a good 3 years. And then people cottoned on and went, shit, it actually works.
Yeah.
Like Fats Fab do it now. Honestly, a lot of people buy our MAF housings because we sell them to other companies. And I have no issues with dealing. Like I deal with Fabulous Fab. I deal with all type fabrication. I'll name names. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But we sell to a lot of companies that because they know it works.
Yeah.
But as for American stuff, a Silverado, you need to tune it. There's no two ways about it. Tuning through G&L Performance, it's about $8,800.
Holy shit.
Yeah, for a Silverado. So they have to buy the tune roughly for about $4,000 from Chevy.
Yeah.
And then from there, they tune the car and the transmission. And
good Lord.
So you got your snorkel, your airbox, your intake pipe, which is, say, $3,000.
Yeah.
Then you got your tune, which is 8,800 roughly. So
wow.
you're looking at a good $12,000.
Yeah, I know, like, that's actually not as restricted as I thought it was going to be. What's that? Oh, Sammy. Go to the Wildside page and scroll down. There you go. There is something. I can't even remember what this was. I think it was either a D40, might have been an MP300. I can't remember. Keep going. There was a snorkel that we did for a customer, and you had to cut off this little chute that went into the guard. But keep going. It was the most restricted fucking intake that I've ever seen.
PX Ranger, maybe?
It might have been a Ranger.
Because the Rangers in a 2.2 litre, they drop down to about 2 inches inside the guard.
Yeah, it was.
It's like a trumpet looking thing.
Yeah,
like 90 degrees.
It was fuck. There it is. Click on that one.
Yeah, PX Ranger.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck is that? I literally, I had to stick the 50-cent piece because I blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
I was like, how? Because I mean, like a lot of the Australian stuff when they bring stuff in, that's is it detuned or is it just they do that from factory or like?
Yeah, factories detuned. Yeah. I mean, it's longevity of the motor. It's everything. It's emissions.
Yeah, but that blew my mind.
Yeah.
I like, that's crazy. I mean, Gleno was telling us about.
I've seen some companies that'll cut that ring off and attach it straight to that.
Really?
I'm not going to name names. I've seen a bunch of shit from.
Wow.
A lot of them is one company that I change the stuff on. But yeah, it's a whole lot of shit.
Yeah, that was surprising. I mean, it's always fun when you go digging and I don't, what was it? What did I write there? No, it doesn't say. Oh yeah, no, there you go. You're right, Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely surprised me. But what was I saying? Gleno was telling us about the Range Rover or the Land Rover. How I can't remember what the kilowatts were, but it was something like it was 150 kilowatts, 180 kilowatts, 200 kilowatts, and 220 kilowatts, and all it was through the different options of that vehicle was a tune. It was the same motor, same gearbox, same diff, same everything.
Yeah,
and it was just a tune. So they know it'll do this, but they'll cap you at that, so they can charge you more for what they already know it'll do, which just, I mean, I guess smart business, but anyway.
No, and it is one of those things. And you go to 3.2 and it jumps up to about 2.5 inches.
Yeah, okay.
So that'll be a 2.2.
Yeah, it was a while ago. When was that? 183 weeks ago.
But they use the same airbox.
Yeah, it's just that bolt.
It's just that.
Yeah, that was attached to the side of it. I think that went into the guard from memory. Yeah.
And I think they face forward as well by memory.
So when it comes, like you're talking about people going to the airbox. I mean, there's a certain amount of, even with the BT50, it's like got that whistle and fart and carry on that that the turbos do. But the factory boxes have, in case there's water in there, goes down the snorkel in, sits in the box, drips out.
Yeah.
What happens to that with an
exactly
aftermarket box? Okay.
So with ours, we designed, when I say designed, we got our own duckbills made.
Yeah.
So just made them off another brand.
Yeah.
I don't know what brand. It's just like your standard Nissan ones.
Yeah.
And then basically you have a duckbill in the bottom with a 9mm hole inside, and then any water goes in, drips out, and it just empties itself out, does its own thing.
Yeah. There
are companies out there that have like a threaded hole, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And you got to put the bolt in, pull the bolt out. As soon as you go through water, put it in. When you finish, pull it out.
That just
when
like
it's raining, leave it out.
Yeah.
It's just something that's not. It's just not ideal. And you need serviceability. And the duckbill, a lot of them actually, we have people try and claim warranty on it sometimes because they put their hand over the end of the snorkel. And obviously when they're driving down the highway, you put their hand over the end of the snorkel and keep driving. It's got to try and suck air from somewhere.
Yeah.
So through that 9mm hole, it's got to pull air because it's a vacuum seal.
It inverts it.
And it inverts it. And then it obviously becomes brittle because they haven't realized that it's done it in 6 months.
Yeah.
So they're not there. Then they just got to replace it. It's a simple hose, like a zip tie job. You just undo it and do it back up again.
And what's your go? Obviously, you got all the branded filters there, but the whole K&N stuff.
Yes.
As far as off road, because I've heard you hear through the grapevine stuff over the years where people have gone down the track of doing those K&N sort of filters with the oil based, kind of particulate filter. But they're no good for dust because they'll clog up and and all that. Is there any kind of inside stuff to that? Because I mean, we come up through, again, prior to the 4-wheel drives, we were all, Commodores, slam them down, make them go quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the go-tos was a K&N filter. What was it? Iridium plugs, maybe.
Yeah.
A bit of an exhaust or whatever, suck, bang, blow.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously there was no dirt tracks in those things.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with that sort of stuff when people are doing them?
If you're talking like bull dust, where it's like super, sort of like super thick, fine dust.
Yeah.
Man, you can't go past those uni filters.
Okay.
You just can't. Yeah.
Right.
The ones that we do, like they're a physical foam base with a steel cartridge inside, so they can't collapse. And then we supply the socks for them. So those socks come standard on every single filter.
Okay.
And the filter itself is green, and then we make the sock red.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact that you can see if there's dust on a red filter.
True.
Whether it's road grime, and road grime is hard to see on a black filter. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
So we make them red for that reason. That red sock, you can just leave the filter in, you rip the sock off, clean the sock, drive around them in the meantime, put the sock back on, start.
Yeah, right.
You don't actually dirty your filter. So your filter will last 10 times longer if you just keep servicing that outside sock.
And what's it, just fresh water, give it a flush out, or is it?
There is a cleaning product we sell, and it's like $60, but you get a lot of cleans out of it, and then you re-filter it. You re-oil it afterwards.
Yeah.
As for oil on your MAF housing, on your MAF sensor, that's a tricky one because even through a factory filter, through a factory paper filter, your MAF sensor will still get super dirty.
Right.
So every single car that we have come in, if it's running the factory factory airbox, we will give it an electrical cleaner clean.
Yeah.
Generally, they're black. They've probably never been serviced in their life.
No, it's not really the typical thing that
you never look at it and go, I need to clean that.
No. Is it something that on the newer cars that is part of a normal sort of service, or are they?
I don't think so.
No, you really.
I've had brand new cars and I've always serviced it myself just because it's never been done by. I had a brand new D-Max and that never got done. Mind you, I had a brand new D-Max and I went to Isuzu for the very first service, and I was doing a DPF delete for it, and I had the DPF still in but no exhaust, and then they ticked it off saying that the exhaust was still there. And I was like, got you there, bud.
Far out.
It just goes to show what people are like with servicing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's and that's not going to be quiet either. That's a pretty decent thing to miss.
No, it's quiet.
I would have been quiet.
Yeah. If you do a DPF back exhaust, it makes zero to no difference.
Oh, I thought, okay, I missed that. I thought DPF you were saying back. You'd done, I thought you hadn't, from the DPF back, you hadn't done anything. It was still sitting there just off.
Yeah, correct.
Right. So there was nothing there.
Just quiet, yeah.
Still, that blows my fucking mind.
So off the turbo, 90 degree, down to the bottom of the car, 90 degree, and it stopped. There was nothing from there. And they had ticked it off that the exhaust was fine.
That's wild. Well, this one's, Shawnee's just gone through all that sort of. What did you get? An MG? Was it the MG that was at the car out for ages?
No, the CX-8.
Yeah. And what was wrong with that? There was some part, and it was there for fucking 6 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, 8. No, that was the airbag sensor.
Yeah, because it didn't even go off, did it?
No, the wife love tapped a little baby Roo, but it has so instead of it senses whether it's a person or an object, and if it's a person, there's these rams in the bonnet hinges, and it shoots it up and creates an air gap between the motor and the actual bonnet, so to cushion a person.
Yeah, right.
Instead of them smacking a head on the hard part of the engine. But having said that, all that had to be replaced, and the sensor has to be replaced, but you can't just put in a new sensor from another car. It's got to be a blank.
Coded.
Yeah, it's got to be a blank part that's then put in the car and then coded to the car. And the problem was the factory had burnt down in China. They'd moved operations, and in that time, everyone in Australia was screaming for it. And yeah, it took us 8 months for a part.
For a fucking sensor.
But the funny thing was, the only damage, if all that stuff hadn't shot off, the only damage to the car was a little tiny bit of cracked plastic that probably would have been about $100 plastic weld to fix it. That was it. But because it had all these other sensors to save a human, which is, I guess, rightly so. But having said that, the damage that it did to the car, it destroyed the side panels, the bonnet crumpled.
Because of what its reaction was to it. Not the
I guess
impact.
that would have been to keep their ANCAP rating, to make a high ANCAP rating.
Fuck, I'll stick with the 80 series.
But yeah, so a $100 crack turned into, I think it was about 15 grand's worth of damage.
And 8 months.
And 8 months to get a part. But that was early COVID and anyway.
I'll stick with the 80 series. You can fucking bounce off it.
Anyway, that was
Bang.
a long story that's very painful. We'll forget about it.
We had, I remember when my kids were born, we bought, I fucking know why, but we bought a Captiva. Mm-hmm. And that was about 20,000 Ks, and it was just sitting in it was brand new, but at about the 20,000 Ks, sitting in the driveway, idling with the aircon on, standing outside the car, talking a bit of shit. Little fella's in the back, passed out asleep. And something just shot through the casing of the gearbox and dumped its guts on the fucking driveway. That was about 3 months.
Typical Craftiva.
Oh, yeah. It was don't even want to talk about that piece of shit. But it was, but it was literally sitting there just idling and just shot something through the casing, just shut its pants.
Yeah, right. Back to filters.
Aeroflow.
We use Aeroflow rather than K&N. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's they're both a 5-element filter where for your street driving, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
If you don't clean it, the larger particles will just wear through because it's a turbo, so it's trying to suck it through.
Yeah.
So the larger particles will just suck itself through, and obviously all the elements become bigger.
Yeah.
So your larger dust particles can now get through a lot easier. I would use them for everyday use, but I wouldn't go off-road with them. They're not an off-road filter. They're designed for high flow. They're designed for your Civics and for a filter that's going to filter in the minority.
Yeah, but for your daily sort of like your beach trips, glass house, that sort of stuff,
it'll be fine somewhat as long as you keep up the maintenance on it. But if you leave it for 15,000 Ks and not clean it, it's obviously going to it's just like anything, right? You don't service your paint, it's going to be very porous and a lot harder to look after.
Yeah.
Exactly the same as your filter. You don't look after it and it's going to become one of those things where it's going to be hard to service, so you just replace it.
Well, that sort of sock that you're talking about there, like what's a typical sort of
20
price? 20. You fucking buy a couple of them.
Yeah.
Just rotate them.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, yeah. $25 I think they are for your sock.
Oh, is that on the top of the snorkel?
Yeah, so these are the other ones that we do. So basically, you either zip tie them or hose clamp them, but that prevents 90% of the dust going down the snorkel. You can just rip that off at any time, give it a clean, put it back on again, done.
Yeah. So who gets the fun job of stenciling that and spray painting it?
Unifilter.
Oh, do they do it for you?
They do it all.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So we have a deal with Unifilter, and so the filter itself has Unifilter written on it, which it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I sell them as a Unifilter brand.
Yeah.
But we just hit them up for just our custom stencil, and obviously we just sent through the drawing, they printed it out, and everything comes in with it.
Yeah, well, that's it. And it's obviously not because you've got a filter on the top, and then you get a filter on top of the filter in the airbox.
Yep.
There's obviously not enough of a restriction to bother anybody.
No.
Oh, okay.
There's still a relatively, like I've got obviously more Hiluxes out there, but that's got 240 horsepower. It had 270 last time, running something like 35 PSI or something. Through the Unifilter, didn't have any issues.
Yeah, okay.
No, nothing from the tuner. The tuner would always tell me if there's any issues, but no, there's no performance issues whatsoever. Maybe at like high performance, But with any filter, any restriction in front of the turbo at 100 psi, you're going to be coming up to anything.
Well, I mean,
You're also not going to take that off road.
no, that's true too. When you're getting into that sort of, well, I mean, Sammy Young pushing 800 horsepower or something through that bloody. Fuck me. I don't know what filters he's running, but it's. I don't think it's really any longer a touring truck.
No.
So
Yeah, you talk anything over 500-600 horsepower, unless it's a obviously like a Silverado or a Ram. You're not taking it off. You're taking it off road, but you're not touring in it.
no.
It just becomes super unreliable. And
Yeah. So what about you? You got any builds going on at the moment?
no,
No.
I'm trying to sell my Hilux at the moment. I just had a resprayed. It was green. We had a wrapped in green, and
Yeah.
mate, that was a rigmarole from who we got it wrapped from. Sorry. It went back 4 or 5 times and just never ever got finished. And it was so I hit him up and I said, "Would you be interested to do business? I'm happy to pay. You do advertising. I do advertising." And he said, "Yeah, no worries." Gave me a price. I said, "Yeah, cool. Let's go." He was going to come to me, supply all the stuff, give me a physical drawing of what he wanted, or what we both wanted, and then just go from there.
Yeah.
Basically, it came to the point where I dropped my car off. It got half done. The roof didn't get done because the paint was peeling.
Fair call.
So he didn't wrap that. So I had to fix that, and then it went back, and it didn't get done. And then it went back again, didn't get done. No, sorry, it got done. And then, but where they had the joins, it was all bubbling out, and all the flares were bubbling, and he said, "Just paint the flares." So I painted the flares, and he said, "The paint's not good enough," so you had to respray the flares, and then, oh mate, it was just an absolute nightmare to deal with these guys. And
Wow.
yeah, like when you say paint the flares, say I need the flares clear coated in a 2-pack finish.
Yeah.
Would be the answer.
Yeah.
But it was like, just paint the flares. And I said, "Is like primer fine?" And he's like, "Yeah," but it wasn't.
Look,
So I can see the work behind it because
Yeah.
I've wrapped my own car.
yeah,
but
like
just communicate with your customer. This is a whole customer service thing.
it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I think that might have been a bit of a shit experience though, because like we had the shop truck, the GU that I chopped. That's got the big fiberglass gut replacement guards, right? And obviously, when fiberglass guards rock up, they're not, perfect. Like gel coat's never great.
Correct.
Now, I sprayed them outside of the booth in black after a bit of prep work because I knew eventually we were going to raptor it.
Mm.
So I was like, I'm literally only doing this to get it wrapped. So it wasn't great. But Alex that runs Einstein's signs down here, they wrapped that and that came out fucking perfect.
Mm.
And there was like bits of dust in it and was not a great paint job underneath that wrap, and it looked fucking awesome.
Yeah, I 90% agree. It's not. It was just the business.
Yeah.
Dealt with,
Yeah. I know there's a lot of places out there that do it, but anytime anybody asks me anything about any kind of vehicle wraps, I send them down there because that was fucking immaculate.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was only on there for about 5 minutes because we got offered the right money for it and sold it. But it like that, all that green that was on it, that was like reflective at night, and it was it was cool. But yeah, that was not overly well
finished.
We'll call it finished. Wasn't overly well anything, that paint job that I did under that wrap. But when we tore it all off when we sold it, and we wrapped it everything.
Oh yeah,
wrapped it what was not already wrapped it. That came up like Mickey Mouse. But yeah, no, they did fucking awesome work, and it was not a great paint job.
Mm. Well, I wrapped mine, obviously the race car. I wrapped that myself, and like it's not a hard job to get right, but obviously it's to get it perfect. It's obviously it's just like anything.
Yeah, the last 10% is always the pain.
Correct.
But
And just like welding, 90% prep, 10% work.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at yours there. It's a weld porn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of our first lobster back intakes.
That's
So I was just admiring.
A lot of hours in that.
yeah. Now I haven't been able to find these, so you might know where they are. But years ago, on I'm gonna say American Chopper, they had these, like, I don't even know what you'd call them, like Meccano click together. It's gone. Literally like that, but they were like an outer with an inner, and they click together, and you can rotate them. They were just offset to, you click them together to get your overall dimensions of an exhaust.
Yeah. Ice something.
I don't know that they ever told us. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it's
amount
like
of
ice,
times
it's like Ice Works or something. A lot of American use them for manifolds.
yeah. Well,
They make up the manifolds and then they follow that.
yeah. So when you're dealing with stuff like that, I mean, obviously that's, I mean, even that picture that was up there before, like, God only knows how many friggin' hours are involved in that. But there's something like your stainless stuff that you guys do when it's not coated. There's something for me in that seamless finish that just, I don't know. I guess it's each to their own. Like that, there's probably people that froth over that, whereas I kind of look at that and I'm like,
Why?
there's part of me that would want that kind of all smoothed.
Yeah.
Because then when it's smooth, you sit back and look at that and go, how the fuck did they do that bend?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I like that. I like that thing where you look at something and you're like, something's not quite right, and it takes you a minute to work out what's going on.
I like that as a visual aspect inside the engine bay. But
True.
you talk to me about snorkels, and I would not have that on a snorkel.
No, that would be, that's probably not a good look for a snorkel, but, you know.
Yeah, it's just and you know, there's multiple companies that do it now, and everyone has their own way of doing it. But yeah, it's like with seamless work, you have to do it right, otherwise you can see it from a mile away. And
Yeah.
not everybody can see it because not everyone knows what they're looking for.
Right.
But if you can look up a snorkel and you can see any kind of bump, any kind of divot, generally there's a weld on there somewhere. If it's seamless and there's like a bump, say 100 mil wide, there's a weld on there somewhere. There's very well-known companies that do absolute shit work and have a huge name because it looks great, the marketing's great, price point's the same as ours, but they just don't have that. I don't know, they just don't have that finish for it. And Corey, Corey does all our polishing at work, and he does a fantastic job. Now, like, obviously I taught him 90% of it, and he's just figured out ways to do it better.
Yeah.
And everybody's got their own ways to do it.
Yeah. Once you got that foundation, you sort of get your own sort of feel for
so
it. Yeah.
in that, there's three welds in there. So the elbow comes out, and on the straight section there's a weld. Just after the first elbow on the bottom, there's a weld, and then right at the top there's a weld.
Yeah.
So you can't see any divots in that, which is a perfect example of seamless.
Yes.
Whereas you look at other brands, and it's like you look from a distance in their stainless finish, and you can like literally see a divot.
Yeah, right.
And just unless you point it out, nobody knows.
Yeah, but it's like the same thing when you see the old like style side Kingswoods.
Yeah.
And you look down the side of them and you know,
And it
they're doing
ripples.
these ones. Yeah. Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing when you do a paint job on a Monaro, for an example.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between bogging up the doors and then bogging up where the door meets the panel.
Yes.
So it's all flat
yes.
because you can see a roll off
Yeah.
and then a roll off.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just that perfection of detail that just not a lot of people have it. There's probably maybe one company that I know that is like attention to detail is great.
Yeah.
And I'd probably recommend maybe 2 or 3 companies to any customers that I don't do work for.
Yeah.
I.e.
Yeah.
Y62s, I don't do just because I just hate the snorkels on those, and I'd rather not do them.
Fair enough.
You know, like some, you just got to admit defeat.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, there's definitely stuff that like when we're doing like the 79 bonnets, like when I'm grafting, there's certain models that are just a prick.
Mhm.
that you're just like, I don't know that there's definitely enough money that you can charge that makes it worth the time, but it's still a prick.
Yeah.
You know, you could double the price and you'd still be sitting there going like, ugh.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like there's a few of them where I'll literally sit there with like, you know, the English wheel or the shrink and stretcher, and you're like, I'll have to get someone down there to give me a hand, and we're like, you know, rolling an edge to just get a bit more of a smooth transition. It's just a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And
sometimes you just can't pay for that.
No, and sometimes the dollars aren't worth it, because you still sit back at the end of it and go like, it was just annoying.
Yeah.
You know, like I had a guy.
You feel defeated at the end of it, and you're just drained. And
you know, I mean, like, look, a cold beer fixes a lot, but yeah, there's definitely like the footprint of the big DPF bonnets. You get some people that message about, you know, trying to get them on the like a Ranger or a Colorado or whatever, and you're like, I just don't think people understand how much fucking bigger the bonnets are.
Yeah.
Like
the extra rise in it.
Yeah, like your front edge and your sides, okay, fair enough. But the rear, like there's like 6 inches of those rear like little trail off sections that if that ends at the back of the bonnet, like you got to cut all that out and sort of redo the whole bit of sheet metal at the back to make that transition nice.
Yeah.
Like that's not 5 minutes,
no.
You know. But it's still, my drama is that I'm still a sucker for a challenge. So
yeah.
all right, fuck, I'll give it a go. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, I should be ready in like 2-3 days, and then you're like a week into it, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But the excitement at the beginning is fun, and the customer reaction is good. But there is always that portion in the middle where you're just like, oh, fuck, why did I say yes to this?
Mm-hmm.
But
then you look at the end job. The customer turns up, they're happy.
Yeah.
You're happy because they're happy.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it all better.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing is I'm not here for the money.
Yeah.
I'm here for customer satisfaction and just to see people smiling and happy. And I don't know, it's just something, it's that like, as long as they pay for the job, I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
You know, like happiness to me is more than money. It's same with the kids. I'd rather spend more time with the kids, but also love what I do.
Yeah, it's a rock and a hard place.
It's a real rock and a hard place.
Yeah, because you're like, and I've had this conversation a few times, and you know, you're like, you know, you have it's tricky when what you do is also kind of like your hobby.
Yeah, it's
also the part that you would do if you had a different job. You'd still be doing this because you just enjoy doing it.
Yeah,
and I've said it a few times as well. It's like, you know, if the bills are paid and there's beer in the fridge, I'm pretty good. That reaction, which is why we sort of have that cut off of once I start laying color, like they can't come down and have a look until it's done. Because as much as, yes, okay, we've got to pay bills, that surprise factor of that when you roll the door up or pull the car out or whatever it is, that look that it, you know, we did one in the old shop in Moonby Street. It was a D40 with a like fiberglass canopy and all that, but it had hail damage. It was like the paint was shit. Like we went nuts on this thing, and that dude was like in tears in the driveway. You know, like he was that emotional. It was almost like I almost got a bit uncomfortable. like, you know, like he loved it, and it was a complete transformation of a truck.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that engagement and the feedback that you get, that excitement that you get, because some days can get a bit repetitive. But yeah, that definitely puts fire back in your belly to keep going for sure.
It definitely keeps me going every single day.
We've got a typical comment that we talk about, which you're not going to be able to do shit for, which is the electric vehicles. So I think we'll skip that one. But although having said that, a big snorkel on a Cybertruck would be cool.
It would be pretty.
It'd confuse people.
Maybe Elon can help you out.
There you go. Well, we said this last time too. Was fucking Barney put it up to Gleno that if Gleno bought him a Cybertruck, he'd do a little red in it.
Oh yeah.
So we need a snorkel on it.
Have you seen any of the Cybertrucks doing four-wheel drive action in the States?
No, who was talking about that?
Pretty terrible.
I think it was Matty from Direct Suspension was like, he commented on it that it couldn't even get up this bit of a shaly rock.
Yeah.
It's like it's bulletproof, but it's also like 4 ton.
Yeah. It's like 7,500 pound or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of truck.
That's a rig.
Yeah. There was a
There's a guy building one in America at the moment. He's building his own it looks like a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
It's not a physical Cybertruck.
Yeah.
But it's an off-road one that he's built.
Actually, jump on Google for a sec. There was a rendering. I might have brought this up before, but it still looks way cooler than the fucking thing that Elon did. There was a rendering, Cybertruck concept. This popped up, if it brings up the photo that I'm thinking of. This popped up in I don't know, news feed or something on Facebook. Hit images, because that'll bring up everything else. Yeah. There you go. That reddish one.
Oh yeah.
That. If he'd have built that, because it's like one of their normal Teslas, but like on fucking steroids. Although that armor truck's pretty cool too. But that popped up. I was like, man, if he built that, I would buy that, because that just looks insane.
There's a guy.
Although that looks a lot cooler too. Yeah. That's like one of the Fast and Furious movies, that fucking thing The Rock was driving.
Man, I haven't seen any of the Fast and Furious since maybe 6. It just went ridiculous.
Yeah, things got a bit freaky after they started dealing with bloody submarines.
Yeah, as soon as they lost Paul Walker.
Yeah, well, they lost him in 7.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from there.
Yeah, that was rough. I'm not a big.
Everyone's a race car driver on the screen.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I
think it was a spring driving, wasn't it?
No, I don't remember. Somebody will comment something, but I know it was just the car accident. But it was like, I don't know. Of all the people, like, I mean, they're all kind of cool, but like, he was just, nobody ever said a fucking bad word about him. Mm. You never heard a bad word about Paul Walker. You never hear a bad word about Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
You know, like, he was just a fucking good egg.
Yeah, they just stay in their own lane.
Yeah. Like, there's there's always photos of Keanu when he's like taking photos with chicks, and you can see his hands.
Yeah.
Like, he's not, he's like actively going, I'm not fucking touching anyone. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess as a celebrity, you probably got to, but that's also just seems like it's just him.
Yeah.
Like, he just seems like a cool cat. He's into got his own bike shop and shit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess when you're that loaded and got a lot of spare time, you
have
just,
anything you want, right?
Yeah. Well, fuck, why not? You buy a house next door to your bloody canal property and put a skateboard ramp out there, or have floor to ceiling fish tanks and shit, lots of staircases and everything you want. What's we were talking about this earlier. So you're not real big for the bush. You're more of a beach man.
Correct.
Yeah.
Only because of the family. Yeah. Well, I'm not a fan of going a distance of 1 kilometer in an hour. Right. That's just not me.
You want one?
Yeah. I'm a foot to the floor kind of guy.
Right.
But yeah, it's just not I've never really been a fan of it.
It's we've had this conversation a couple of times on here. I'm not for the full send off road.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like breaking shit. But I do like this. I do like the articulation. I do like a bit of slow articulation, a little bit of something that's just takes you a bit of time to work out a good line. But I'm not for, full noise, busting diffs and TVs if that's appropriate.
Yeah, for
the road. But I do like the beach.
I have a car that will do it. I have a Hilux with an N70 with rad flow 2.5 in the front, and it'll get 12 inches of travel. And in the rear, I've got Superior in the rear, like coil. So it's been converted to coil.
Yeah.
Flex is great. Drops the wheel below the sill. It's just not me. I did it for R&D and just a bunch of other shit. But it's really just not me.
No, you're
I would rather the comfort. Like, the coils are so comfortable. You go down the beach, you can fly down the beach absolutely as fast as you want, with no issue whatsoever.
Have you got a favourite spot
For the beach?
Yeah.
Double Island.
Yeah, okay. We've been talking a lot about Cancun, and every time I bring it up, Barney fucking gets up me for it. But it's,
I've never been. Where is it?
Cancun is just south of Bundy.
Okay.
It is I first saw it on Low Range, the first episode that Ruthie and Gleno and the boys did. And they did, I think they did Fraser Island. They went through to the telly track just outside of Harvey Bay and then went up to Cancun. And it is just, I keep bringing it up. I don't know. I don't know why. But it's just, the trip in's nice. It's like about half an hour worth of sand driving to get to it, depending on whether you go up the beach or in the backways. But and then like last time we were there, it was like 5-6 days, and we saw one car go one way once. It's so quiet. It's a beautiful spot, but I don't know. There's actually on the way in, depending on if you've gone through Bundy, on the way in, you go down the main road as if you're heading towards the water. Pardon me. Turn left to start taking the tracks in. And about 150, 200 metres in on the left, there's a little playground that I don't know if it's still there. It's been a while since I've been there, but that was a little bit of fun in there. It's got some cutouts and some bits and pieces in it, but it's you can have a little bit of fun in there and then head out to your beach top. But it depends on what you're doing though, because like that's a long trip. That's a good 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
So it's not an overnighter.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking lazy when I'm on holiday, so it's like I want to set up and just not think for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Which is that's always the challenge when you got the kids or you know your missus is like itinerary based. I just want to like do nothing. I want to go into my nothing box for like 3 days.
She has a list. She rolls out a scroll of things to do for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Have fun. Let me know when you're done with that. I'll be here drinking beer.
No, we just went to. I'm a very people person, so I don't necessarily like to introduce myself to people, but if I'm there and like if my kids have interest with their kids, I'll definitely make an interest in it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we'll make friends and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, but I don't find anything interesting with going. Like I'll go off road, but I won't go. I'm going to go to Glasshouse Mountains and drive Big Red.
Yeah,
just for shits and giggles. It's just not my.
No,
I'd rather go around the racetrack and go 200 k's an hour. And
have you got any toys? You got any toys that go fast? Go fast bunnies?
I wouldn't say go fast, but it's fast enough. The D40, lowered D40 with a Hilux chassis in it.
Yeah, right. What are you running under the hood of that?
L98.
Okay.
So it's basically it's single cab Hilux extended 350mm to suit the D40 body.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing is widened each side by about 100mm, 140mm.
Shit.
Yeah, that's how much difference there is between an N70 and a D40. Two-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive.
Yeah, right. I didn't realise there would have been that much difference. Because like side by side, they don't look that far off.
No.
What's that truck race stuff where they jump them, but it's on like a Bathurst kind of truck?
Stadium truck.
Yeah, that's a bit of me. That's a bit of me.
Well,
yeah.
We just had killer conversions in.
Okay.
Pardon me. We've had them in before. We didn't a full exhaust for them. They took it out to Ross Creek.
Yeah.
Had a few issues, so we changed to how they wanted the exhaust this time.
Yeah.
So they decided how they wanted the first time.
Yeah.
But we just put like a massive airbox. It's like a meter long by like 3 meters. No, a meter long by, sorry, not 3 meters. Like 500 or 600 mil deep.
Yeah.
2 filters in it. And just put diverters in it. Just try and get the dust out of it as much as we can. But
yeah, okay.
Just add that in there and yeah, did all that work. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, hell yeah. You'd be like, look, I'll look after you on the price, but I need to be there for the R&D.
Yeah. Well, I was like, man, just put a sticker on, mate.
Yeah. Fuck that, give me the keys. I'll just make sure it's working for you. Be back in 5.
Well, I think his next race is in May, and I was like, man, I might shoot down and have a look.
Yeah.
if it works out.
Yeah, that shit's cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Going fast is just, that's me.
Yeah. I think I'd love to get back into, this one's been at me for fucking go-karting and shit for forever, but still, it's
Still waiting.
Still waiting. It's
what, like a Hayabusa motor or?
No, he's probably run the Rotax series if we're going to do it. It'll be just because that way he can start it when he spins off, because I don't have to fucking run out there and collect him.
Yeah,
I'm more like the beer pit crew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll drive out and drive back and drink beer.
Sean.
Yeah, that's right. Where is he? His fucking race finished half an hour ago. Fucking limping back. Didn't know you could flip a go-kart. Full send. Fuck me. Oh, all right. Well, look, I think we should probably wrap that up, because now we're just starting to talk about just anything and everything, which is kind of what the whole thing was.
That's all it's about.
Was to just be talking shit.
Yeah. And
I did have it was Maddie from Direct Suspension was down there, and at some point prior to that, someone had given me a bit of shit for the lack of structure. And I got about 60 seconds into it, and it pissed me off already. So I was like, not doing this shit anymore. I like it's I like it to just be a bit of fun talking shit.
No, it's absolutely, you just got to do it. It's it's all part of it. So you can't be serious all your life.
No, oh jeez, I don't think anybody's ever accused me of that. But as far as
so snorkel wise, selling them through Inhouse.
Yes. So for anybody, I want to get that sorted so that we can get people to, I reckon, go through you guys if they want. I mean, because it's your snorkel anyway. It's just if they want the wild side head on it.
Yeah.
We do a bit of a special for them or something like that to kick that along. If they put like wild side as a code into the purchase or something like that.
Coupon code, we can sort that out.
Yeah. Sweet. What do you reckon? We give them like 10% off or something?
10% off, perfectly fine.
Sweet.
So it'll be as simple as just going into the website, buying whatever you want, choosing the options that you want.
Yep.
You can select install or postage, and it's a one-stop shop. You don't have to do anything else. If you select install and you want the wild side head, that's perfectly fine.
Yep.
Cheryl can contact the customer, organise an install date, and it's done. It's
But you guys would ship all over Australia anyway, wouldn't you?
Worldwide.
You're worldwide.
Worldwide.
Yeah, right.
So the latest one was France for a D22 manifold, exhaust manifold.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was pretty bizarre. Man, we've done Kenya, France, fucking London. America's a big one, and we've just come into a company over there. We used to deal with Sloop Imports, who never really advertise the products.
Yeah.
Because they're not an automotive shop.
Right.
They were just an import company.
Okay.
So DRT Fabrication has just come in, and they are going to supply our snorkels now as a dealer. So you can just
that's cool.
Physically buy them through there, and that's the Tacoma and the Forerunner.
I figured you shipped them everywhere. The thing that surprises me is that somebody would have spent the money on importing a fucking D22. Because it's like, I mean, I'm sure there's a few other things you could bring in.
A manifold, you see, they crack at the look of heat. The D22 manifolds. We sell a bunch of them. We sell probably, I would say, 3 a fortnight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't realize they were that bad. The last D22 we had down here, I think it was just a quick little like respray with I think we put a tub rack on it and a couple other bits and pieces. But it wasn't like, you know, I like paying them out because I like paying out like Tritons do. But that was a good little rig, you know. But I didn't realize that was like you'd send it out that many a week.
So you'd actually be surprised that it's essentially the same motor as a D40. So you can actually go and get a D40 manifold, D40 turbo, bolt it directly to the D22, and you'll obviously connect your airbox and your intercooler because the D22 is top mount.
Yeah.
You connect those and you can get 230 horsepower out of them.
Really?
With injectors, yeah. And they fly because they're light. So my parents had 175 through factory injectors, and they had and factory top mount, and they had, and it would keep up with my 220 horsepower D40 on 35s.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I have to rethink my shit can D22. That's
reliability wise and timing chains.
Well, yeah, there's that.
It's one of those things. But
Yeah, gonna have a lot of fun until you go bang.
anything's fun until you go bang. I mean, you look at any car though these days; they're not built to last anymore. So
No, that's why
there's always an issue with a new car. Like,
Yeah.
should I buy that? But it's got this issue. Should I buy that? But it's got that issue.
Outside of the pain in the ass for the snorkels, the Y62s though, especially the supercharged V8 ones.
Mhm.
Is there much going on with them? Because I fucking love the look of them things.
We don't physically do anything for them, but we do do exhaust for them,
Okay.
which is quite a nice seller.
Yeah.
And obviously we offer straight throughs. We have a system that doesn't, I would say, resonate through the cab. So
Yeah.
we came up with a muffler that's basically two resonators together. They don't actually meet inside.
Okay.
And essentially it just goes 2 into 1 at the end of it, and then from there it's a 3-inch system all the way through. You can choose straight through, resonator, or muffler at the back,
Yeah.
and that's all it does is change the sound difference.
Yeah. Okay.
But it doesn't resonate through your cab, through all of them, whether you're towing or whether you're not towing.
Right.
So that's the only thing we do for Y62.
They fucking sound good when they
love
got a good note on them when they're full send.
Until you do a cat delete. So if you do a secondary cat delete, they clap like worse than a 79 series, and they just don't sound nice.
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, it's not many people do it, but it is a
Yeah, there was a video on YouTube I was watching that was I think it was 2 or 3 of them that were going up. They were climbing some fucking sand hill somewhere, but they all had a good note to them. Wouldn't mind one of them. Fucking pricey.
Yeah.
But
I think what they had 90, 95.
I was looking at one the other day, jumped on Facey just because I can't fucking help myself, on Marketplace, and there was a couple of sort of 2018, 2019, that facelift shape. And yeah, they were still sort of 70, 80 up. But I don't know. So anything V8 really. I think if you're going to have, like the shop truck we're wanting to do is the V8 100 series, just because nobody's really, none of the shows have really got one. The 60s, 80s, 79s, 200s, but nobody's really got one that's a sort of iconic
Like
100 series.
What would you do? Like,
oh, chop it.
what are they? 100, 1UZ,
The
V8. I know bugger all about 100 series.
maybe, I don't know.
Petrol V8?
Petty, yeah.
Yeah. Must be 1UZ.
It probably would be. But yeah, the 100 series, they'll just do an extra cab chop, nice tray canopy setup.
Yeah.
And then sort of brand it all up. Because now that we've got, the Yokohama's like methods, you guys, the only thing I keep saying this, the only thing that would bug me a little bit was I'd probably 2K it.
Oh, yeah.
Probably wouldn't Raptor it.
Mhm.
Just because it's, Solden's, whenever we do the 79 bonnets that people want them color coded. So, unless we're shipping them, because if we ship them, we send them in primer. But anything that's a local pickup and they want them color coded, I use Solden's for all that, because Mike and his guys down there are just like, they make me look good.
Yeah.
The gloss black Y62 and the 200 series, the last few that we did, it just comes back like a fucking black mirror.
Yeah.
And I think, from a point of view of putting stickers on it, shit doesn't stick to Raptor real well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Not very well.
No, I'd probably 2K it, but then the first trip I'd have pinstripes and that'd piss me off. So I'm like, fucking, I don't know, but I'd love. I'm gonna do the 100 series, the V8 100 series, but I'd love to get into a 62.
Now that I think about it, we were talking about the GQ obviously before we're on air.
Oh, the dual cab
rectilinear
chop
one.
that we did, that was a LS swap dual cab chop. That was a big build, that one.
The only pain in the ass thing was the Raptor liner. Have you ever tried to tape up a guard with wrap the liner on it?
Yeah, it's shit.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
We have to get a special tape just to.
I tell you what though, because
and the pinch weld around the outside doesn't sit very well.
No, the build that we're doing at the moment, it's a single cab GQ. We're doing like full. That was fuck me. That was supposed to be a relatively simple closed door, and I reckon, God, 70% of that went back to raw steel. But yeah, once I'd done the Raptor, I had to do an underbody. So it means I got a drop sheet and tape all the edges. So the trick is you just, wherever you're about to put tape, go around with wax and grease remover. Yeah. And then it'll stick. Not as good as 2K, but because it's only touching the peaks of everything.
Correct.
But if you knock it back with the wax and grease remover, it will stick. Because it's it's a prick to get anything to stick to. There's, I think, up there on the wall. So for anybody that's not looking like, and I keep referring to this, there's a wall of photos.
The invisible wall.
Yeah, the bottom row, third one in from the left, there was a little extra cab Hilux that we did, and I had the original W done probably, I don't know, maybe 1.5 feet high and foot and a bit wide in a grey vinyl on all black on black on black on black Raptor. And the poor prick that was there was trying, because I hadn't worked out the whole prep wash, wax and grease remover trick by then. He must have been there. He'd put the basic outline of the vinyl cut on, and he was there with a heat gun and a sponge trying to get it to sink into all the texture. God, it must have been an hour and a half each side for a very basic sticker. And I reckon 10 days, and it just off on the highway. Yeah. Gone. Like, well, that was a waste of fucking time. Looked good for a couple of photos, but that was about it.
So what's the deal with Wildside? And so what are you doing with Wildside?
Fuck, anything and everything. Trying to work out how to put. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say try. Well,
so obviously, like your main builds.
The main builds are still. I still like chopping stuff.
Yeah.
I don't mind accessory fitting as long as it's not as long as some of it's just accessory fitting. So we had a car yard approach us to do the I think they were like mine spec or something like that, 79s.
Yeah.
And they were trading them in at about 60, 80 odd thousand Ks, whatever it was. And the concept being that it would come and we would do like a tray, canopy, wheel size, lift, bull bar, winch, spotty, snorkel, UHF, like all that sort of stuff. Which is perfectly fine from a day-to-day basis, but it's still cake decorating. Mm-hmm. And I like, and we do that, but I do like a bit of fabrication.
Yeah.
I get personally from my engagement in a job, like I like to make something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the typical day-to-day stuff is the Raptor liner, rust proofing, wheels, tires, lift kits, snorkels, bolt-on bits, UHF. Pardon me. There's been a bit of chatter because I've been Uniden the whole time, and GME's kind of stepped their game up a fair bit. Mm-hmm. So I'm sort of open to the concept of changing.
Let's go GME.
Is that what you use? Yeah. I don't know. Uniden was so far ahead for so long.
Yeah,
though.
I used Uniden a while ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been GME since.
Yeah. Yeah, the last couple of years they've definitely stepped their game up.
Yeah.
It's I think Uniden to a degree might be sort of one of those, reference brands that are resting on their laurels. Mm-hmm. Because GME is definitely, that's like Nokia. Mm-hmm. In the late 90s, early 2000s, you wouldn't have ever had a brand that was anything else.
Yeah.
And then
Nokia was great. Play hockey with your phone.
Yeah, that's right. You could drop kick that thing and it wouldn't matter. Nothing broke.
Yeah.
The fucking brick. But then they rested on that and fucking iPhone just come and smashed them. Yeah. Although BlackBerry was big for a while. That had a better fight.
Yeah.
A bit of
I think that was the first flip phone. One of the first flip phones.
Yeah, I had one of the ones that you turn it sideways and slide it, and the screen come up and there was a keyboard there.
That was a Nokia, wasn't it?
No, that was a BlackBerry.
Oh, right.
Oh, was it? No, that Oh, fuck. It's
I had a
just my
Nokia
memory
like
out.
that. Yeah.
Maybe it was a Nokia.
And
Maybe
I sat on it and broke it.
Maybe it was a Nokia. I can't remember now. But yeah, but again, you know, Uniden, they were like for me,
Yeah.
that was it. I just would never put anything else in a rig. And now it's like, I don't know, what are you doing? But I mean, I guess it's a fucking UHF. Like, I mean, how much innovation can you have?
It's all on the handpiece.
Yeah, but GME's definitely, they've stepped up a lot. I think the shop truck, I might go down the GME track.
We did with the Hilux. At the end of the day, you plug it in, everything's on the handpiece. You can hide the rest of it.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I think there's a few builds for the series coming up, and having everybody involved with it's been really cool. But the day-to-day stuff, it's the biggest drama with me moving forward with stuff is staff. Man, finding people that want to fucking work after COVID is
Good
like
luck.
fucked.
The government pays you more than what you will.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, and you probably find the same thing. The trick is finding somebody with a passion for something that's good at it, that hasn't got their own shop already. Or they're not using you for a stepping stone to do their own shop.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. It's like that middle ground of somebody. Like I've had some mates over the years that were just workers. They didn't want the fucking stress of all the bullshit that went with running the shop. They'll do the job, they'll enjoy the job, they'll go the fuck home. But it's like, COVID killed it. The amount of people that I have interviewed to try and get a decent fabricator, even an accessory fitter, you know, just doing like winches and suspension and shit. Like they're nowhere. They're just gone.
Yeah.
Or they've got their own shops.
And that's where a lot of people are going.
Yeah.
They think that everybody that owns a shop has a shit ton of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's literally where it comes down to is everyone wishes that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've got, there's a lot of stuff lined up. Like I probably should shut up because I keep dropping stuff that we're trying to do. But we've got a lot. Because I mean, like, if everything that I've got in my mind for moving forward is to a degree somewhat American based.
Yes.
As much as all of those things you could drop the hammer on them tomorrow, I can't do 5 different jobs.
Correct.
And finding staff to replace me in the areas that need to be replaced is just doing my head in.
Replicating yourself is literally the hardest thing.
I fucking don't want more of me. One of me is more than enough. But
it is one of those things, you know, like it's the same with me. I would love somebody to just take over what I do.
Yeah.
But you cannot find somebody that can build the website. Like I don't do 100% of it, but I do 90% of the website. I also do the installs. I also do the custom jobs on the exhaust. I also make snorkels. I also do the intercooler kits and send them out myself. I do the intake pipes. You know, it's just it's literally. If I could have 10 of me, I would be rich as shit.
Yeah,
it comes down to that.
It does.
But you have to have that drive to be able to do it, and just nobody has drive that doesn't own their own business. At the end of the day, you have your certain amount of drive, but you can only expect 80 to 90% about it, or probably 80 to 90% of people of their, I don't know, they'll only give 80 to 90% of what they can majority of the time. Nobody will ever give 100% all the time.
No,
and that's the biggest thing you have to look at.
No, and that's fair enough. And look, there's definitely different parts, and you'd be the same. There's definitely different parts of what goes on in your shed throughout the day that's enough.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't need somebody to run at 100 miles an hour, taking the bins out and sweeping the floor.
Correct.
And to a degree, you don't want anybody doing anything at 100 miles an hour because it's like it's
going to be a fuck up in between.
That's right. And that's one thing I noticed, like, you know, since it's been me on the tools, like pretty much all of last year, I do have a bloke that comes down and gives me a hand every now and then, but you know, like shit just isn't a problem anymore.
Yeah.
But my ability to meet the demand of the inquiry is like like, I don't know, 30%. Because it's like, I'm just not going to do 18 hours a day and kill myself to try and get ahead in that regard, when it's like, that's fine if you've got the next step ready to go.
Yeah.
And I've done that. Like, I've been Lee, who was a customer of mine back in the old shop. When I was getting his car ready, like, I was in the shop at 2 a.m, laying Raptor, to get it done for him in the timeline that we needed to do all that stuff. And I don't mind doing that, like what you did with your 3-year thing. When you can see the next step and it's like, that's there and it's ready to go, I'll do what you need to do to get to it.
Yeah.
But I can't do that next step until we've got at least five different kind of qualified sort of people. I mean, they don't all need to be, what's it called when you can do like everything?
Jack of all trades.
No. Like in the like chops and chassis work and electrical and a coach builder.
Yeah.
But they don't all need to be like full coach builders, but, someone who's good with the accessories, someone who's good with bodywork, someone who's good with, and even to the point where, somebody takes their role seriously, that at the end of each day, they empty the fucking bins. Like the amount of times that I've had people and you're like, I'll leave after or get in earlier than, and you walk in and go like, the compressor's still on.
Yeah.
Or the bins haven't been emptied, or the tools haven't been put away. You're like, fuck me, how hard is it?
Yeah. So through COVID, we actually, talking about struggling with finding people, I actually was doing 2 o'clock in the morning. I was starting at 2 o'clock in the morning and finishing at 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Just to meet the demand.
Yeah.
And we were still 6 weeks out. It was just ridiculously busy.
Yeah.
And my partner was dropping the kids off to school, coming in, and then she would be on the phones or rapping or whatever, and then she would be leaving at 6 o'clock at night after picking the kids up from school at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And that was our life for 3 years through COVID, and people just couldn't understand it. They just, why is it taking 6 weeks? Mate, you literally cannot find somebody to work.
Yeah.
And we went from 2 people to 7. We still couldn't meet demand.
Yeah. It's definitely not easy, and I think that the biggest thing, and I've had this conversation a few times, the biggest thing with me moving forward is it's the right people. And I mean, there's been times where I've had like friends and friends of friends, and, and then somebody's talking shit, and someone's lost their job and they need work, and you're like, and it's just become, and I mean, my biggest drama is I'm not a great manager. I'm really not. Like, yeah, I'm a sucker for a sob story. And it's like Paulie, that used to be at Max Tracks. Like, he's an ex-detective, and, I've done that much stuff for him over the years.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys that, it's not that he does anything, but he just commands respect.
Yeah.
And it's like, if ever anything went wrong, I'd be like, I felt like I was getting in trouble from my dad. He's not that much older than us, but it was just like, I'm like, I need someone like that to just be like, because someone comes to me and I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, okay, all right, fine. Your cat's got a cough.
Yeah.
I need someone to go, no, you'll fucking do this, or there's the door. Because I don't know. I think when I had kids, I lost my mongrel.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I really think that's what it was. It's hard to keep that up, because it's also a challenge when you're adding, because I did it when I finished 22 on my own, and I had a month and a half worth of work booked for sort of 7 people. So it's like that was a lot of hours to get through that, get back on my feet, sort everything out, and then kind of start 22 halfway through Feb.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a challenge, and it's having faith in people. You can only get kicked in the teeth so many times before you start going, fuck, it's not worth it.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, I think, what do they say? Like, all the good stuff in life is on the other side of a challenge. You either win or you learn.
You got to be scared to move it. You got to be scared to advance.
Yeah.
And man, I've had that conversation with my partner so many times.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you do fail at some point.
Yeah.
But it's how you come back from a failure as to how you survive through that point.
Absolutely. Look, I've said for years, I would rather try and fail than wonder.
Yeah.
Because it's when you've got, and you've probably the same thing, when you've got that creative kind of mind and that, you can't turn the fucker off.
Yeah.
If you were left wondering, it'd do your head in more than picking yourself back up and having another go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What if?
Yeah, I hate the what if. I can't live with the what if. I can live with, well, that didn't work, but I can't live with what if.
Exactly.
That'd just piss me off.
Yeah.
Anyway. Steve, we're out of beer.
Yeah.
Fucking beer assistant. What's going on here? Jesus Christ. He's not getting paid enough.
No go-karts, that's why.
No go-karts, yeah. There you go.
Fund the team. More beer.
Fuck, mate. Well, mate, I really appreciate your time. I know you're busy, and I know it's taken a bit to get you down here, so I thank you.
No worries.
I'll have to do up a bit of a video for anybody wanting to get the Wildside gear from you.
Yep.
And but other than that, in-house, you've got inhousefab.com.au.
Yes.
Yeah, and
yes.
Instagram and Facebook and the
Everywhere.
store.
Yep.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
All over the place. Best gear around.
Try not to do TikTok.
TikTok pisses me off. I literally screen recorded a video of not John Howard, Bob Hawke telling a joke.
Uh-huh.
Posted that for shits and giggles, and specifically wrote things and spelt them wrong because it's apparently that engages people. 1.4 million views. People will watch fucking anything.
Yeah.
Well, they'll watch dumb shit.
Short attention span.
Yeah.
Short videos, you got them.
Yeah. Well, what are we sitting on? We're like an hour and a half, so we've lost people 7 times over. All right, buddy. Thank you very much. Anybody needs anything, reach out to you, and if they want the Wildside gear, put the Wildside promo code.
Yeah, it'll be a coupon code. Yeah.
Coupon code. Yeah, sweet.
That'll be done through the website, and obviously you can just put it through at the bottom of the podcast.
Easy as. Thank you very much, buddy.
No worries, mate.
Bye, everybody.